Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about how to streamline your end-to-end developer workflow with AI. My name is Will, I'm the founder of Clova, where we build an AI agent that allows different brands and businesses to be able to quickly generate on-brand assets and iterate through them as well. We're also backed by the Founders Inc. Accelerator here in San Francisco within Fort Mason. And in my free time, I enjoy making YouTube videos where I document my startup journey with over 18,000 subscribers on the channel, and where I just share about the ups and lows of building a startup and also share about how I build software. And today, we're going to cover the 4 phases of shipping a product end to end. In the first phase, we're going to talk about how to come up with startup ideas. In the second phase, we're going to talk about how do we build with Copilot and VS Code. In the third phase, we're going to talk about how to effectively communicate with our team so we're able to move fast while building quality software. And lastly, once we have our software built, we're going to talk about how do we go to market to get real life users. To come up with the idea, the number one thing I suggest is to build for a problem you have for yourself. The first reason is that if you already run into the problem yourself, most likely you already understand it on a very deep level. And the second reason is that for a problem you already have for yourself, you will also be using your own software to resolve those issues, right? So you're able to go through rapid iteration loops. The second thing is that to be a domain expert in a field that you're trying to solve the problem for. Again, that also helps with understanding the problem. The second thing is that you're able to most likely know other people in the industry already. So you're able to find early adopters very quickly through your network. And a lot of times people think when you come up with a startup idea, you want to sit down and think about what good ideas there is. But from my own experiences, a lot of times all the ideas when they come from is when I'm not actually actively trying to think of different ideas to build. So for example, let's say if I'm browsing the internet, and what happens is that you always want to catch the ideas the moment they come up because they can very quickly go away. So something that has been helpful is that I'm using the Logitech MX Master 4 over here, is that they actually have an action ring here. So over here, I configured over here to open up a new notepad. So I have a documentation where I'm able to quickly write down different ideas. Another thing that's also helpful is that a lot of my ideas come from when I'm actually actively reading different articles, consuming new information. So I also use the screenshot feature very often here to quickly screenshot the parts, so I can also save that into my notes so I have it for reference. And lastly, something that's also helpful is just to play and pause my music, honestly. Sometimes that puts me in a different mode when I'm thinking for different ideas, or also just when I'm, working on different coding projects. The last method I suggest is to run user interviews about their day-to-day. So for these, I try to tend to focus on questions like, what do you spend the most time on? What is your day-to-day like? And what does your organization have budget for? Because those things are very deterministic, right? They're not very opinionated. Since they're just describing what is happening, they won't usually have a bias when they're answering the question. So moving on to the building phase. So the 3 major use cases I've been using AI for, number 1 will be obviously writing code with GitHub Copilot, but also writing a lot more documentation, a lot more tests as well. For the documentation and test part, I have already tried a lot of different prompts and also iterated a lot to be able to consistently get the results I want, right? But however, to be able to, quickly find these prompts or copy and paste them in, and definitely not going to, rewrite them in the GitHub Copilot chat, I actually already configured my keys on the Logitech Creative MX keypad. So each of these keys, when I'm in VS Code, actually is a different prompt. So I'm able to quickly paste in these prompts and execute out these tasks without having to context switch and try to find, where these prompts are stored or rewrite them from scratch. And something that has also been very, very helpful is that because for each of the features I'm shipping, I actually start a new AI session, right? Because obviously with AI, a limitation is the context window. So I don't want to have like a feature that is not relevant to the next feature I'm shipping within there. But to be able to pass down the information very effectively, after I ship a feature or after each session, I write down a very detailed AI doc, or also like for myself to read and for the next AI session to be able to catch up on within that feature, within that folder as well. A new thing that has also been happening with my team is that in the past, we're always kind of debating a lot, right? About what features to ship, what experiments to run. But because of how much faster we're able to ship software these days, instead of debating, we just try multiple features and go to production with it, because at the end of the day, we want to let the market decide and see where the pull is coming from. So moving on to phase 3, we're going to talk about how communication has also really changed with AI for different teams while shipping software. So in the past, a lot of times I would just get on the call and explain to my team what I think is important, what the milestones we're trying to hit, or what other software issues we're running into. However, since, with AI now, we're able to write down so much more documentation at a quick pace. I actually told the AI to write down a very detailed HTML doc that's formatted very nicely, and I present that to my team, because when I'm on the call with them, now they're able to really stay aligned more and I also noticed they're able to digest the information a lot better since there's something visual for them to follow with. And I also obviously shared those documentation with them after the call, so they also have that for reference. But also, while also showing the documentation on the call, I also use Microsoft Teams for my calls. So in Microsoft Teams already, it takes the transcript, and obviously the AI also writes you down a good documentation and different action items for the team to follow with as well. Detailed documentation has always been super helpful for the code base and also on the business side as well, but it just takes so long to do. And the cool thing is that a lot of times you're able to get consistent behavior from the AI if you're using the prompt that you have already tested. So I actually also have the prompt saved on my Logitech MX curated keypad right here. So I'm going to quickly access that to, write down these documentations as well. And moving on, we're going to talk about once you have your app shipped, right? How do you go to market? How do you find users? So usually what I suggest is always to go where your users are gathering. And for different products, there's like different places that users gather, right? So a lot of the audience watching right now are probably developers. So for the dev community, usually what I suggest will be Twitter. Also, I suggest product hunts, since a lot of folks are on product hunt looking at different products to try. And a common way that people have also been doing is to create an open source project, right? Since an open source project, if you build something cool, a lot of times people will contribute to it, and they're very invested once, when they see like cool software that's open source. And through GitHub and GitHub stars, you're able to, get a lot of visibility through that. For my own personal software that I'm building with Clova right now, I'm actually doing a lot of the marketing on Instagram, since a lot of my users gather there, and through LinkedIn as well. And something that also has been helpful from my own experience and other folks that I've seen ship software is also build in public. So I do that with YouTube, right? Where I kind of just document how I'm building, and people get invested on your journey and they end up trying your software. Once you're able to get users there, you want to be able to reach out to them through email or whatever platform it is, since you want to get on these calls with these users to get feedback, right? To know how to build a relationship, and obviously to know how to improve and iterate on your software. So a lot of times these messages are also very consistent. I have a couple messages already written up. So I actually already also have those saved on my Logitech MX creative keypad over here as well. So I'm able to, simply just change your first name and then sound those messages very, very quickly as well. But the thing is, building is still the skill. But the leverage now is that AI lets us build so much faster, so we can put up more shots and test out way more ideas. And after we put it out there, we can see the signal from the market on if it's an idea we want to continue working on or not. But on the flip side too, something I have been noticing for myself and others is that a lot more personalized software has been, coming to life as well. Because in the past, it's hard to justify the time and energy to build those personalized software, right? But now with AI, you're able to bring those ideas to life so much quicker, which has been super, super cool. And I'm excited to see what you ship next. If you do, please let me know. I'm always, excited to check out new projects as well. And I hope you learned something from this presentation. And thank you for your time.